Hey everybody. Yeah, 2 videos in 2 days. But I had some time this morning before I start doing a couple jobs that I figured I'd make a VR, and I'm gonna be do Scott at Aristocob. So what a better place to do it than in the van. Um, it's gonna be bent stems or straight stems on your corncob pipes. So I figured instead of typing it out in the comment section, it would just be easier just to make a VR, and I haven't done a VR for the sake of doing a VR in a while. Um, when it comes to pipe stems on or bits on a cob pipe, I do prefer the Danish style ones over the stock ones or the ones that usually come on the cobs. I just think they're more comfortable for me. They're a little bit they seem like they're a little bit wider than the ones that come on the pipes. So I do prefer the Danish stems. As far as bent or straight, I don't clinch my pipes a whole lot, and the pipes I do clinch, like the one I usually have when I'm in the truck, my truck pipe. I usually if the ones I'll clench are usually the smaller pipes, and those usually have the little saddle bits on them. But when I do modify them, like that nose warmer I do have in the truck, that has a straight bit on it. I prefer that for clinching if I'm going to be clinching a pipe. Otherwise, I do prefer the slightly bent ones. I guess if I have to give a preference to one, I like the slightly bent ones. More of that is just because on a lot of the pipes I modify, I just find them more aesthetically pleasing than the straight ones. So I guess that's where I stand on that. Not a big preference on either, but so I guess if I'm a clinch, I prefer the straight ones, and if I'm not, which I'm not most of the time, I prefer the bent ones. So there's that. But the most important question he missed is amber bit or black bit. I used to actually like a lot of the black stems that came in the pipes, but lately I've been kind of more into the amber colored bits or stems on pipes. So I don't know. You guys got a color preference, or any of you COD modders? That's another question. Like anybody does any COD modding, do your stems, the ones you use, just depend on which one looks better on that particular pipe? I don't know. To me, it kind of does. Sometimes I'll put different stems on, either clear one or a black one or a straight one or a bent one, and one will just kind of will seem to flow a little bit better with the overall style. Now on the filters. Now, hey, before you guys give me a thumbs down, I'm gonna say yes and no. I know on all my briar pipes, I don't use a filter on any of them, unless it's like some of my K Woodies with the stingers that are just kind of stuck in there. But I know when I first started trying a filter, it was like getting a shake, and you're excited to have the shake, but then you go to suck on the straw and you couldn't get none of the shake because it was too thick. But some of that I noticed had to do with way the filters, if they get pressed too far into the stem, they kind of squish down. But still, the draw is a little too restricted for me. But on what I've noticed, and I have done in the past, and I don't do it as often as I really used to, it had to do with certain blends. The draw would be a little too open for me, or I would need something to slow down my draw. And I would cut them into, thirds or fourths, if that makes sense. So like a 1/4 inch, enough that it would just fit in the stem and make up that difference. Kind of like, yeah, hey, big. And I would put them in. And on certain blends, it would be enough to slow me down enough, but didn't really restrict the flow of the draw really a whole lot. Now, since I do more of that traditional briar pipe, bottom in the bowl and the draft hole, I don't have the problem as much with as many blends. But that's kind of where I feel on the filter thing. If I am going to use them, I'll usually cut them short, so you get like 3 or 4 out of one filter, and that's not because I'm cheap. It's just because when you cut them about that big, the draw difference really isn't that much, and some blends it kind of mellows them out a little bit. Like there's a couple blends I can't think of any on the top of my head, but where I like the blend, but I don't know, it's just me and I'm too aggressive on it, or what the deal is, but if I put that little piece of filter in there, it mellows it out a little bit more, or slows me down to the point where I'm not getting, not necessarily tongue bite, but smoking it too hot. Or I've done it camping a lot, where I brought a pipe and I'm just not bringing a gob of filters, or if I know I'm early chooch on that thing over the weekend, kind of really abuse the cob. That little piece of filter is nice, catch a lot of that moisture, and you just pop it out, throw another one in, so you're not constantly cleaning it or trying to get the moisture out of the stem, if any of that makes sense. So otherwise, yeah, the filter thing, don't use them really a whole lot, no more. So other than that, yeah, that's, I guess, where I fall on all that, this highly controversial topic. Scott just causing drama again. All right, you guys. Hey, have a great weekend. Hopefully, if you're like me, you're going to try and get your cob foolery seed, homegrown corn in the ground if you purchase one of those kits, and hopefully you can get around to getting that in the ground this weekend. And maybe I'll shoot some video, all that somewhere. We'll see. All right, guys. Talk to you later.